Good morning, Facebook family. Well, today we're at SeaWorld San Diego and it's a gorgeous day. We're celebrating a very special little lady's birthday today. It is Amaya's second birthday and we have a lot of special treats in store, but we also want to share with you some of the learning opportunities that she is taking part in as well. Well, this morning we are joined by not only Amaya, but her mom and dad, Kalia and Ulysses, along with their trainers, Katie.
Hey guys!
Candace.
Good morning.
And Amber. Hi. Now, many of you actually helped us to name Amaya. Her name actually means night rain, and that's because over two years ago, we had a pretty bad storm, which is pretty unique for San Diego. We live in perfect weather, but we had a very, very bad storm, and it rained all night long. So all of the trainers, our animal care specialists and veterinarians were here all night long monitoring both mom and calf. Now today, as I said, she's 2 years old. She is eating 55 pounds of restaurant quality and sustainable fish. She weighs in at almost 1,300 pounds. And today we're going to actually show you some target training. You know, one of the most commonly asked questions that we receive about our dolphins and our killer whales is, when do you start interacting and training the babies? Well, this has everything to do with mom. We want to make sure that mom is comfortable with us interacting, so we wait until we see or we observe behavior that suggests, hey, I'm okay with you interacting with my baby. Well, Kalia has such a strong bond with her trainers. She loves to play with us. In fact, when we come in the morning, we are often greeted by her and she escorts us over to the office. She is ready to start her day with us. And we see that same personality in Amaya. So we actually noticed about 2 to 3 months that Amaya was starting to look at us, but we actually started the training process at about 6 months old. And the training process is very simple. So we are not asking her to learn any complex behaviors. All we're doing is we want to show her that we're rewarding and we are fun and we have a lot to offer you. So one of the first things that we do is we want to establish eye contact with them. And the second thing we want to do is teach target recognition. Now, if you've joined us in previous broadcasts or if you've been to our park, you sometimes notice that the trainers use this target pole. It's a long pole with a bead on the end of it. And what we do is we're going to teach them to focus on that target. So you can see Katie's doing that right now. And you can see Amaya is very interested in that target. What are you doing? Okay, great. So all we're doing is placing it in her environment. And we're waiting for Amaya to lightly touch the end of that target. And then Katie's blowing her whistle, which simply tells Amaya, yes, that's correct. And then I'm going to reward you in some way. Now we will first start off with our hands. Our hands are a focal point for the killer whales. And those are the signals, how we communicate to the animals. But we can also start off with a simple hand out. They'll slightly touch our hands. But we need an extension of our hand. And that's where this target pole comes into place because it helps us to train and shape all the different behaviors that the whales learn. So you just saw Katie was moving along the target pole and Amaya was following it.
Hey Christy, in regard to training, really quick before we miss it, Fan Germano, I hope I'm saying that right, is asking, how do we train the whales to vocalize?
That is actually a pretty difficult behavior to train because in the training process, when you're teaching a behavior, you're shaping the behavior a step-by-step process. Well, the killer whales make sounds through moving the muscular flaps in their blowhole. So how would you teach a whale to move the muscular flaps? It's very difficult. So we do a technique called capturing, and what this is that the animals will get excited. As we continue to interact with Amaya, you'll hear her vocalize here and there. And so when we hear her automatically offer that vocalization, we can start to pair it with a hand signal, and then we actually capture the sound and pair it to that hand signal. They also can mimic the other killer whales, so as Kalia, we can ask her for a vocalization that she already knows how to do, and then you will oftentimes hear the babies mimic or copy their mom, and then we'll pair it to the signal.
Awesome, thank you, Christy. So you're telling us more about target training. So what are we seeing here that Katie is doing with Amaya?
So this is something that we have been working with Amaya for over a year, and you can see that we do offer her a lot of different toys as well. So it's important for the trainers to establish that this target pole is a tool that I'm using with you. So Katie's paying special attention to her body language, and you can see her mouth was closed. She was following the target, and she told her, yes, that is absolutely correct. Now, sometimes they get confused and they think this is a toy, but of course we don't want to blow the whistle and have them bite on the toy or push it. We just want them to lightly follow it and touch it with the body part that's closest to the target pole. So you can see Katie right now is just having her do a swim. This is called a pod swim that she can do with the other killer whales, and it's just a slow swim at the surface of the water. So she's not only feeding her fish, but she's feeding her one of her favorite secondary reinforcers. This is a type of conditioned reinforcer, which means that we train them, we pair it with food, and then they find it reinforcing. So she's giving her some ice cubes, some Jello, a lot of fun things.
We have a question from fan Alex about secondary reinforcement, asking how do you know if an animal finds it rewarding, and do they break from session?
We don't really see them break from session, but you know, it's very important. You have to train or condition the animal to find other things reinforcing. Although I will tell you, many animals, you'll place something new in their environment, they're very curious, and they might go over and start to engage and play with the toy or the secondary reinforcement. So, but there are animals. I'll tell you, Corky doesn't really seem to enjoy Jello. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not going to keep trying to condition her to like it, but you know, the animals will show us, you know what, I don't really care for that, so we don't offer it for them. You know, I want to make sure I'm only offering my animals what they really, really enjoy. For the most part, the animals really like all the different types of secondary reinforcement we offer them.
Thanks, Christy. And for fans just joining us today, we are live here at SeaWorld San Diego celebrating. We can zoom in. That's Amaya. It's her 2nd birthday today. We have a question from fan Jeffrey, Christy. Why do you think they like the water poured in their mouth? We've seen some of the trainers do that.
Yeah, great question. You know, many people don't realize that the whales aren't drinking that water. They actually receive all the water that they need from the fish that they eat, but they do like that play. I mean, you watch Amaya, she's making vocalizations. You can see she's really enjoying interacting with her trainer, Katie, right now. It just feels different, and it's like you playing with your dog with a water hose. Same type of session where they just like to play with their trainers. So she's not drinking that. She probably just likes it poured in her mouth, and probably even more so, she really likes Katie's enthusiasm, her body language, and it's a lot of fun.
So Christy, what are some of the joys of getting to work and care for baby Amaya here?
Oh boy, you know, this last 2 years has been really a lot of fun for me. You know, 4 years ago we had Makani, her uncle, born, and seeing the differences between the two is really, really interesting, but Amaya really has stolen our hearts. You know, most of the whales, when they're young, they want to be with the other killer whales, which is absolutely normal, but we have seen that Amaya has this propensity to really want to be with her trainer, so of course we love that. And it's just amazing to me how fast she learns behaviors. You know, normally it'll take a few months to train a certain behavior, but she seems to pick up behavior a little faster than the other killer whales.
And and fans, earlier, before we started this broadcast, Christy, we were talking about it, how Amaya seemed to be just chatting or just talking to Katie just on her own. And you mentioned to our fans that when y'all come in the morning, there's Kalia and she's watching y'all. And fans, these are sounds that Amaya is making just on her own, just as she's interacting with Katie.
Oh, absolutely. You know, as long as we're here to interact with her, she's here to interact with us. She really, really enjoys her trainers. You know, I wanted to go to the next step in the target training, and that's that once the animals learn to touch the target and follow the target, well, we can actually use this to train certain behaviors. So Katie's going to demonstrate that right now, and what she's going to do is she's going to place the target in, and we're going to ask... Yeah, we gave her some kelp the other day, and she still is playing with it. So this is something we can use where we can turn it. But there, she got it. So that's just a turn that she's doing. She uses her tail flukes and her peduncle, it's a large muscle, in order to maneuver or to turn in a circle. So once she understands to follow the target, the trainers can then pair this with a hand signal. There's the hand signal, very nice.
Wow, that's
and
cool.
so that's what we call involves removing the target away. So a lot of times the animals will be really focused on following the target, which is great, but then we need to move on and take the target away to see if they truly understand that behavior. We can also ask her a mimic behavior, so we'll see if Katie can do that. Katie's going to turn around in a circle. So this is another signal, and look at that, she got it. Nice, Amaya. Very nice. You know, one of the things that was really interesting about Amaya when she was born, 2 years ago at about 12:28 p.m., Kalia gave birth to her very first baby. Now, as I mentioned before, we monitor them 24 hours a day. And you know, what interests me is that we continue to learn about these animals. Normally, a cetacean, a dolphin or killer whale, will start nursing at about 12 hours to 15 hours post-birth. It actually took Amaya 36 hours to start nursing. And of course, we were concerned, we continue to watch, and one of the things that just warms my heart is that we actually saw her grandmother, Kasaka, nursing Makani in a different way. She actually swam down towards the bottom of the pool, she laid on her side, and Makani came up and started nursing. So for us, it was Kasaka showing her daughter, this is how you need to nurse her baby. Maya was trying to latch on to the mammaries, but she was up high near the inside of Kalia's pectoral flipper, so it wasn't the right location. But the baby was strong, and of course we see today that she's incredibly intelligent. She started nursing after 36 hours, which was very different from other killer whales, but you know what? It doesn't matter. She's a growing baby and doing just fine.
Her sound, and her fans are saying, our fan boo said, I love her sound.
Oh yes, she's fun. You know, I think our fans really enjoy when our stadiums open for our presentations. I think a lot of our fans really enjoy when Amaya and Clea are out in our main pool during presentations or prior to. She seems to really connect with even our guests. So we often see her out there making vocalizations, trying to get the attention of our guests. So she is definitely a ham. All right, so we have a very special treat. This is one of many that Amaya is going to get today. So Katie made this very special treat, and this is gelatin that is attached to one of our toys. It looks like she got them all off. Very nice, and it looks like her mom and dad are over there letting the baby play, so that is very nice. So this is just gelatin that Katie made and attached to a toy for Amaya to play with. There you are.
There's still something stuck on the bottom. Oh yeah.
Now fans, if you're in San Diego today at our 2:45 Killer Whales Up Close presentation, we have some even bigger surprises for Amaya. So hopefully if you're in town, you can come enjoy us in this very special day. Amaya has turned 2. If you're just joining us, we are live at SeaWorld San Diego, playing with our little baby Amaya. She turned 2 today. Are you excited? Oh yes, look at all your jello. Hey Katie, you know, you were here when both Makani, her uncle, and Amaya was born. What's the difference between Makani and Amaya?
You know what? It's so crazy how different they are, just like people. So Makani was super independent when he was little, and the funnest thing that he could do was during shows was go out and jump and do his own behavior. Sometimes he would try to mimic the other whales, but he'd have his own flair. The audience would laugh and clap. We, of course, would laugh and clap. So I think it just kind of pumped him up, and he just loved to do that. So anytime we were on stage when he was little, it was, let me split out there, let me go show you what I can do, and come on back. Now this little one, on the other hand, loves her trainers. She has always been very interested in what we are, what we're doing, how we play with her, and it's been really fun just to see the difference, where if we have her in a show, she's like, I want to hang out with my trainers, I want to play with you, where Makani was like, I need to Where Makani was like, I need to go, go, go. I need to go get this audience pumped up, and I need to hear them cheer for me. So it's been really fun to see the different dynamics. However, these two just have the best relationship. They play all the time. Makani has taught her new games. that he's discovered or that other whales taught him, and it's just been such a fun thing to have these two whales that are so close in age have this amazing bond and just be each other's playmates and learn, and it's so fun. It's kind of just like a kiddie playground sometimes, and I just love being able to watch them grow.
So fun. Hey, Katie, we have a fan named Melina. She wants us to tell Amaya that she loves her. How sweet.
Well, Amaya, did you hear that? Melina loves you.
Very sweet. You know, another important fact about Amaya is she is a part of groundbreaking research about toxins in the milk of killer whales. So both she and her mother, Kalia, have been very important working with scientists to understand better how those toxins are transferred from mother to calf, and then also the toxins transferred into the milk, and of course from the food that they eat. So very important, you never know. This little baby may someday save a little baby killer whale out in the wild. So fans, it's very, very important. You know, we mention this all the time, how important conservation is, and it's because of animals like us that continue to inspire us every day. And you might just be one person out there, but I will tell you, you can make a huge difference at making really good decisions. Please visit us at SeaWorldCares.com and you can learn more about protecting these beautiful animals out in the wild. Well, once again, today is Amaya's second birthday. We have a lot of fun surprises for her throughout the day. She's giving you all kisses, fans, from Amaya. Please join us today if you're in town at 2:45. We're doing a really special birthday for Amaya. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and join us again in the future. Have a great day.